So good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here. Thank you to the folks who are going to watch this from home later on account of COVID. Thanks to ECAP Broadcasting. My name is Connor Reed. I'm the town administrator here in Easton. Today, I'm going to be your MC for a brief program. Today is an exciting day for the town of Easton as we celebrate the substantial completion of the Five Corners Sewer Project and announce that the pump station behind me is live and that folks can start pulling their permits and tying into the sewer today. Normally, for an occasion like this, we would want nothing more than a broad and inclusive invite to folks from the public to come spend time with us and celebrate this. However, COVID has obviously changed the way that all of us do business, including how we celebrate important community events. So in keeping with COVID-conscious behavior, this is a smaller program, a few speakers, after which we'll have a ceremonial ribbon cutting, and DPW Director Dave Field will take ECAT into the new pump station to show members of the community the nuts and bolts of our newest infrastructure. Before I go any further, I'd like to take a moment and recognize a few people who are here. The Easton Select Board, we have Chair Dottie Fulgenetti, Chuck King, and Mark Lamb. We have members of our state legislative delegation. We have Senator Mike BRADY, Representatives Claire Cronin, and Representative Carol Doherty. Thank you for being here. DPW Director Dave Field is here, Assistant Town Administrator Mike Blanchard. Been working really diligently on this project for years now. We have representatives of the Furnace Village Neighborhood Collaborative, which I think is one of the most inspiring success stories of this project. We have Neil Levine of McGuire's, Dale Carrister, and Dave Clifton of the condo trustees. I appreciate them being here, and I appreciate all the work they did in the past couple of years working with us on this project. Without the people who are here, including C. Naughton and Woodard and Curran, this project never could have happened, so thank you all. So today marks the completion of Easton's largest ever infrastructure project. It's a $21 million sewer collection system that will bring 165,000 gallons of daily wastewater treatment capacity to the Five Corners neighborhood. And it will drive sustainable growth, protect our environment, and improve the quality of life in Easton for decades to come, all of which are key goals of the town's master plan, Envision Easton. Today is the culmination of planning efforts that began decades ago, identifying areas in Easton that were in the highest need of public sewer capacity, with residents, volunteers, and elected officials voting to support critical advancements planning this, including town meeting adopting our sewer system maps back in 2011. Major milestones for this project leading us to today included town meeting's vote to purchase treatment capacity from our neighbors in the town of Mansfield. It includes our partners at Avalon Bay funding the entire first phase of construction for this project. And most recently, it includes an incredible community effort led by residents and business owners in this neighborhood to generate additional funding support for this project, ultimately bringing more than $6 million of grants and other revenue into the project revenue portfolio and reducing the estimated cost for themselves and their neighbors by an average of at least $10,000. The efforts of the Furnace Village Neighborhood Collaborative, of our boards and committees, the voters of town meeting, our elected officials, staff, and everyone here stand as a powerful example of the positive change that we can all affect and the incredible projects and things that we can accomplish when we choose to work together with each other rather than against each other. With that, I'd like to recognize a few of our speakers. First, I'd like to welcome Dottie Fulgenetti up. She is the chair of the Easton Select Board. She's a former chair of the Easton Economic Development Council. Dottie is the most tenured member of our board and has been here with us for all three of our sewer projects this decade. And without her leadership, we wouldn't be here. So I'd like to ask Dottie to come up, please.
Thank you, Connor, and thanks everyone for being here today. Connor named off all of the people that received a lot of credit and a lot of gratitude for the success of this project. I think I want to just kind of focus in on a few years back we had a visioning session, and we brought the people from the community here, but people from the whole town. to say, what do you want to see in this area? Do you want it to be developed? Do you want it to be walkable? What kind of businesses would you like to see? And what kind of success and connectivity would you like in this area? So I'm really happy we got such great participation. And I think that, combined with the Furnace Village Neighborhood Association, working with the town, that's the secret sauce to the success of a big project like this. And I couldn't be happier to see everyone here today. And thanks to everyone. We need to take a real moment to reflect on this and all the hard work that went into it. David, you and your team worked tirelessly. Connor, really, really amazing work. And just to, say at the end, under budget, ahead of schedule, can't get better than that. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dottie. Next, I'd like to welcome Easton's DPW Director, Dave Field, for a few remarks. Dave is one of our most important members of the town's leadership. He does not do the work that he does for recognition or credit or adoration, and frequently public works directors are the ones whose name is on the contract that's causing traffic and disrupting some normal things. But as Dave always tries to remind me, it's a temporary disruption for a permanent improvement. Dave has managed all 3 of Easton's sewer projects this decade, taking us from a time where we had 0 treatment capacity publicly to today, where we now have more than 250,000 gallons of daily capacity. 2 weeks ago, the American Public Works Association recognized Dave's excellence and awarded him the Professional Manager of the Year for Engineering and Technology. This is a nationwide award recognizing DPW and Easton's advancements in GIS and capital project management, as well as Dave's enduring professionalism, always guided by the public good. He's done an incredible job on this project. I couldn't do it without him, and I'm happy to welcome him to the podium.
Thank you, Connor. Good morning. Thanks for everyone to come out today to mark the substantial completion of the Five Corners Sewer Project. It's nice to actually be able to recognize a little public works. I know people don't think about this normally in their day-to-day life, but I appreciate it. As Connor mentioned, this took years of planning, design, public outreach, and a little bit of construction to get done. This project presented many challenges. We had to work on a road with 24,000 vehicles a day, without cutting off access to residents, commuters, and businesses. We had to navigate 3 stream crossings under and around 150-year-old stone culverts, using a combination of techniques like the inverted siphon, conventional open-cut trenching, directional drilling, and even tunneling. And the biggest challenge was constructing all this about 20 feet below ground in some areas while keeping everything operational and moving above. At the end of this project, we've installed over 5 miles of sewer pipe and over 1 mile of water pipe. None of this would have been possible without a great design team, a knowledgeable contractor, and solid public outreach strategy, the support of my staff, and everyone at Town Hall. I want to thank our sewer designer, Woodard & Curran, our traffic consultant who designed the project detour, Beta Group, our public relations firm, Capital Strategic Solutions, and our contractor, C. Naughton. I also want to thank my entire staff, especially Greg Swan, who is out here on a daily basis, and a few people that couldn't be here today, resident engineer Chris Monroe, and C. Naughton superintendents, Russ Corner and Matthew McLaughlin. Everyone worked together cooperatively to get this project done, and I thank you.
Thank you, Dave. So in addition to working locally and together with our residents and businesses and local elected officials, a key part of Easton's ability to succeed on major projects like this is working closely with our legislative delegation, who members of this community elect to send to Boston. Today we have 3 members of that delegation with me, with us, and they were instrumental in lobbying for support and the receipt of nearly $2 million of grant funding for this project between MassWorks and Housing Choice. The town is as successful as the people we work with, and I'm very grateful for their advocacy on behalf of this community. First, I'd like to welcome up to the podium to say a few remarks, Senator Mike Brady.
Thank you. And I know it's tough to hear with the traffic out there. I'm going to just put this down for a second. This is about good government working together at the local level, at the state level, and everyone here working together. Nobody gets it done alone. I want to thank my fellow colleagues in the State House. I know Senator Walter Timothy is on his way. He's coming from another event he had to attend to because he represents this part of Easton. But this is so important to help the residents and the businesses of Easton. And there's so many projects with Mass Works that we are continuing to work on as we move into this coming fall season and next year. So any help we can be, please don't hesitate to contact us. I have to leave because I've got another event to attend to myself. My Senate district is quite extensive and I've got a busy schedule, but I want to thank all the local DPW workers, all the partners in Easton, and our state delegation and our elected officials in the town of Easton, because we are so grateful for the team we have in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Unlike you hear the horror stories out of Washington, D.C., we work very well together, and that's how we get things done in the Commonwealth and for the residents of the town of Easton. So thank you very much and have a great afternoon.
Thank you, Senator. Up next, I'd like to welcome Representative Claire Cronin to say a few words.
As we're socially distanced, I'm going to ditch the mask as well. It is my great pleasure to be here today. As everyone has said prior to me, this has been a project a long time in coming. I have to give especially congratulations to Dave, who has been kind of in the trenches, so to speak, on this project all along. To our Board of Selectmen, Connor, the town administrator, this has been a real demonstration of what leadership looks like. And when we look to the people of the town, many of them who have been involved in this in its earliest planning stages, when it was a vision, and we had people envisioning what Easton would look like, this was an essential component of the future of Easton. So I'm proud to be here. I am proud to say that this has been a partnership, and it's great to see our community, our state and local government all come together so that at the end we have something to show for it, and we do here today. So with that, I will pass the mic back to Connor. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. And finally, I would like to welcome up to the podium Easton's newest elected representative, Representative Carol Doherty, to say a few words.
So I'll brave the elements as well. So I'm so delighted to be here. When I first started my campaign, and I am the freshman legislator, and Precinct 6 is my district, so I'm proud to represent this project. The first thing that was mentioned to me as I began my campaign talking with folks in Easton was this project. And you have brought together the perfect mix of ingredients: neighbors, local elected officials and town administrators, state elected officials, and coming in under budget. What else is there for a perfect project? It promises such positive things for growth and development along this corridor for the town of Easton. I wish you well, and like my colleagues, we stand ready to help and support you as you continue to grow this project. Thank you very much for inviting me, and I'm proud to represent Easton. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. So in closing, the one thing I can't say enough is thank you. Thank you again to Easton's elected leadership, our state delegation, our select board, for the continuous support of these critical long-term projects. Thank you to the citizen volunteers on our boards and committees, and planning and conservation, master planning steering committees, who put in countless hours, unpaid, thoughtfully, craft community plans zoning and land use standards that set the vision for what the community will look like and empower property owners to take better advantage of critical infrastructure like this. Thank you to Dale, Neil, David, and the Condo Association, all the residents and commuters in this area for your patience, for your thoughtfulness. When this project started, there was a bit of sticker shock, and there was a deliberate and conscious decision made on behalf of the folks who live and work here to try to work together to affect positive change. And they did in a way that I know I've never seen in my career. And I can't be more proud of them. I can't be more proud of the tact that they chose to take with what was a challenge and working together to achieve really great things on our largest construction job in our history. Thank you to Public Works, Planning, everyone else involved, from engineers and construction teams. And finally, thank you to the Governor Baker administration, the Executive Office of Housing and Economic Development between MassWorks and the Housing Choice designation for this town, for their continued recognition of Easton's excellence, for the recognition of our leadership, and for their critical financial support for major projects like this. And lastly, thank you to the residents of the community for your continued support and your patience while we work through such critical infrastructure projects. Now, Dave, if we want to get some ribbon cutting going. All right, thank you.
This is the Five Corners sewer pump station. This takes the sewage that flows by gravity from the west up at Avalon and Robert Drive all the way down to Foundry Street, Depot, and Bay Road, and it brings it to this point where the sewer flows into a wet well. It's then pumped into a chamber and pumped to Mansfield, 14,000 feet into Mansfield. So we have a wet well, a dry well with the pumps inside it, and we have a support building with all our controls, an emergency generator. You can focus down if you want. You can see. So this is the wet well. The dry well. It's fairly deep. These are large pumps, about 100 horsepower each. They pump about 600 gallons a minute. There's two of them for redundancy. That chamber is a wet well over there. It's also very deep. It's deeper than this. But we don't want to open it because it's an active sewer pump station, so there's going to be some odors involved in that if we open the cover. Anytime. This beautiful building is our control building. This is our bioxide treatment tank. This is a chemical that we inject into the sewer on the way out of the force main to help eliminate hydrogen sulfide generation, which causes corrosion and odors downstream. So this is dosed into the force main as it's pumped. Bioxide. It's actually, it's called bioxide. It's the chemicals bioxide. This is a bioxide tank. This is inside the control room. Some large equipment, large electrical equipment. This is our VFD controllers. It's a variable frequency drive. It's used to slowly ramp up the motors and ramp down the motors. It's very efficient. There's a separate VFD drive for both pump 1 and pump 2. And both these pumps are capable of pumping about 600 gallons a minute. This is the brains of the operation. This is our control panel. So this is does everything for us. We can acknowledge alarms, we can turn pumps on and off, and we can also do this remotely. This communicates with the Northeastern Village Wastewater Treatment Plant, which is the hub of our SCADA system. SCADA stands for Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition. So it basically lets us monitor the pumps and control the pumps remotely. We have controls for our grinder motor. We have a grinder on the intake where the sewer comes in to make sure any tangling devices like rags or towels get ground up so it doesn't clog our pumps up. This is our bioxide dosing. So the tank out there uses these pumps to dose it into the force main as it gets pumped out. And this is all of our electrical equipment, including our automatic transfer switch for the generator, which is on the other side of this wall, which I'll show you in a minute. You can see the antenna for our SCADA system up here. That transmits to the police and fire radio antenna and then communicates to Northeastern Village. And this is the other side of the treatment building, of the control building. This houses our emergency generator. It's a 230 kilowatt generator. Let's watch your step. It's just a really big motor that powers the station in case of a failure of power. And it's a diesel generator, so it has continuous supply of diesel, so we don't have to worry about the issue that happened in Merrimack Valley when the gas mains were shut off. Their backup generators didn't run. This will run because it's on diesel.